Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who have not seen my Sabbat series or are watching this when it comes out, stick around. I'm just going to give a quick explanation of what this is. If you've already watched the Sabbat series or if this has been out for a while, feel free to skip this part. Now, a quick update. Obviously, I am back. You guys, if you're watching when this comes out, I have been gone for a while, filming my new psychic development course. Hopefully that will be up at the beginning of 2023 is my hope. We shall see. So there are a few changes coming to my channel. We are going to be doing uploads every other week, and my live night schedule is also changing. If you want to know more about that, I kind of outlined it in my most recent podcast. I will link that down below if you're curious kind of how all these updates came about. Now, if this is your first Sabbat video that you are watching from me, this is actually the third video. So there are two more before this. You don't necessarily have to watch them in order. I would say though that the first one has the most in-depth explanation of what the Sabbats are and kind of why I'm doing it. But I'm going to give you kind of a briefer version of that in case you just want to jump in and watch this one specifically. Now, the Sabbats are something that neo-pagans, pagans, Wiccans celebrate. You do not have to be of those spiritualities, religions to participate in this. It's open to everybody. There are books on it. You can jump right in. You can celebrate a little bit of it. You can celebrate all of it. So the reason why I decided to do this was that I wanted to find some new family traditions. Now, there are 8 Sabbats in total. Technically 4 of them are the greater Sabbats. The other 4 are the lesser Sabbats. So you have the quarter Sabbats because they happen every quarter year, or you have the cross quarters. 4 of those Sabbats are solar influenced, so you've got your equinoxes and your solstices, and the other 4 Sabbats are kind of just fire ritual related, and they're all again in between each of those solar festivals. So this video we are specifically going to be jumping into the next 2 Sabbats of this year, which are Lughnasadh and Mabon. So this is the summer fire festival and then the fall equinox. So I hope you enjoy these next 2 Sabbats, and don't forget to tune in for the final 2 that will come later this year. Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Lughnasadh. So we are in a new Sabbat today. Technically it's going to be tomorrow, but today's Sunday. What? What'd you find?
Buzz!
Buzz!
I love Buzz.
Do you like Buzz and Woody? Toy Story is our favorite at the moment. So this Sabbat is a fire festival, so that means it's halfway between kind of the solar festivals, the solstices, the equinoxes. So right now, August 1st, we're technically halfway between summer solstice and fall equinox. So, Lego noises. So I'm really excited because that basically means summer is halfway over. I am not a fan of summer. I don't like the heat. I'm sweaty right now. I don't like being sweaty. So I'm excited because it's like a good like mile marker in my brain that's going to be there every year. That's like, okay, halfway done. If there's any more summer stuff you got to get done, do it now. And I will say, I think this Sabbat is going to be the least exciting. So it's probably going to be kind of short. We don't have a whole lot planned for it because it is the first harvest of the season. However, there are 3 harvests of the season. So the next 2 Sabbats after this are technically harvest Sabbats. So this is when the first of those like crops are starting to like actually be, is it reapable? You can reap the crops, sow the crops? I don't know. Again, these Sabbats are very like agricultural based, and it's making me learn a lot about the land and seasons and nature and how things grow. And we actually do have some things here that are like perfectly timed harvestable, which is kind of like, okay, not a coincidence. So we planted things at the time that we were supposed to plant them, and now some of those things are ready to be sown. So let me show you some of the plants that are actually like ready to go now. So this is that big tomato plant that we had upstairs. It got so big we had to move it downstairs. And we have one tomato that's already ready to go. A lot of them are starting to turn colors. This snake plant also got so huge we had to repot it, and I think it looks fantastic down here. My husband also got this pineapple growing. Our basil plant right here used to be ginormous, and I cut it maybe a week ago to like here, and it's already growing so much. We have so much basil. Let me show you. I've already harvested basically this much worth of basil, ready to go. And we were able to restart our snake plant just from some clippings, so we're gonna have a lot of snake plants. Outside is not the same story. It has been hot, obviously. And the crappy thing about our house is that we don't have a sprinkler system. So everything in our yard we have to hand water, and we have just not been able to keep up. It's been hot, we've been busy. It takes a lot of water, which also takes a lot of money, and we don't like using so much water. It just feels wrong. It feels silly to waste so much water on grass and, you know, things that aren't important. So our yard looks sad right now. So all of the stuff that I planted, it's just weeds. Just weeds. But I was really hoping around this time to show you guys maybe some of the things like growing, maybe food growing. Don't quite have that. This house is completely done, by the way. It's up for sale. It's been sitting. Nobody's been touching it for like ages. It's like done, which is kind of cool. This tree is starting to grow some berries. So we've decided we are gonna get rid of this grass and we're gonna find a more native grass to Colorado. So we're not constantly needing to water this to like keep up with the Joneses. It's like, it's stupid to me, you know? Yep. But who knows, maybe come the next harvest, some things will actually start like popping up and maybe we're just not seeing it yet here. Now, first, starting with the old ways of the tradition, this is actually a Celtic festival, mostly Irish. However, this book goes over so many different cultures and how almost everywhere, all around the world, like even Native Americans, almost everyone had some sort of celebration regarding that first harvest. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of consistencies again between like all of the cultures and what they're doing. However, there's a general vibe of like, okay, we're celebrating, we're grateful, we're thankful for the first harvest of the season. And the word Lughnasadh is literally from like Irish origins. They're celebrating the god Lugh. It's spelled L-U-G-H, but it's kind of pronounced Lugh. So that's where you get Lughnasadh. And a cool fact about the god Lugh is he's actually equated to the Roman god Mercury. So during this time they would have like a lot of hand fasts. There was actually a lot of like competitive games going on as well, which I thought was interesting. So a lot of people nowadays might like play some sort of games, like sports games, in honor or celebration of Lughnasadh. And the really old Germanic people actually celebrated this by baking the first loaf of bread for the year, and that was kind of because the wheat was being harvested. So the word Lammas actually comes from Germany, or those people of that time, and it literally translates to bread making. And the Christians, in normal Christian fashion, came across this holiday and kind of made it their own. And so when you look up Lammas, it's their, you know, their thing, their religion or celebration, celebrating the loaf of bread that Jesus made or something, I don't know. But it actually has origins in Germany, in Ireland, in Scotland. So there's a lot of cultures that celebrate the first harvest of the season. They all do something different. Like one of the cool ones in here is the Hopi tribe of the US. They actually did like a water moon dance and a growing moon dance. So there's all sorts of really cool explanations in this book. And personally, I would say like go with whatever culture you're most interested in, find like something that they do and like copy it, or, you know, not copy it as much as just like honor that tradition, because there's so many different ones for this Sabbath. It's really hard to find one consistent thing to do. However, the one thing we are going to do is something that the Scots actually did, which is make corn babies. And the Scots would basically take corn, which I've got right here, and they would make these corn babies and put them around to ask for luck with the harvest, with people, livestock, all sorts of good things. So it's kind of a fun little way that you can create something and put it around your house. I think it's going to be really fun for him. He's probably a little too young, but we're going to do it anyway. And pull him off. We'll put him in there, okay? Yeah.
Where's it going?
Corn, yep. Look at that. You're so cute.
Good, good.
It's good. I'm surprised. Okay, you want to put that in this bowl? Okay, here, let's put it away. It's not cooked yet. We don't eat it.
Okay.
It's good. I'm glad. So celebrating Lughnasadh in a more modern way can be a little bit difficult, especially if you're not like growing things in your backyard. That doesn't mean you can't go to the store, buy some things that are in season, but just try to focus on symbolically like what's harvest time. You know, what am I harvesting in my life? You know, this could just be a really good time to take stock of all the things that have gone well this year. Sit down, make a gratitude list. You know, as you're making dinner or eating with your family, just asking your family like, hey, what are we all thankful for? Doing kind of just like a gratitude check-in. And the reason I'm standing in front of my fridge is because I try to do this all the time. I have an abundance list on my fridge that I basically add constantly to. Anything that goes well in my life, I write it down. And this isn't just money. Like when I was able to pay a bill or a couple bills, I wrote down abundance because in my opinion, if I am able to pay a bill, that's abundance. I was able to pay for something, that's a success, that's a celebration. Another thing that I have on here is we saved money. We have an upcoming trip to Walt Disney World. And originally we were gonna board my dog with like a babysitting service, like somebody who watches dogs overnight. But it turns out one of my family members can't go on that trip anymore. So that family member is just going to watch our dog. So that just saved me $380. So I'm gonna put that on my abundance list. You know, that is $380 more that I can spend now on my trip. I also wrote down too here when I got a new pledge on Patreon. I had somebody pledge $14 a month, which is like my top tier. And then I had 2 people actually upgrade their Patreon memberships. So thank you, by the way. Thanks for doing that, Patreon members. This I just wanted to share because I think that, you know, you shouldn't just be focusing on your gratitude once a year. Focusing on it constantly throughout the week and putting it somewhere visible, like I'm often in the kitchen, will constantly remind you of all the good things you've got going on in your life. So if you saved money, if you got something for free, if something really great happened, write it down and remind yourself of it, because I really truly believe in the law of attraction and that your thoughts create your reality. So if you're constantly putting out, man, I have so many good things in my life, I have so many awesome things going on, you're just gonna get that reflected back. And this was kind of one of my intentions that I wanted to set for 2022. I did not feel like I did this the best in 2021, so this was kind of the result of that. So if you haven't already, this is your sign to start a gratitude list. You can put it anywhere you want. You don't have to put it in front of everybody else if you don't want to. And try to add something to it constantly. Every day, maybe at the end of your day, add 1 or 2 things to it. Gratitude journals, just focusing on what is working in your life has actually been proven to show that it improves your mood, makes you more optimistic, it fights depression, and I think with the law of attraction it brings better things into your life. Now, one thing you can do actually, if you don't just want to like go to the grocery store and pick something up like you normally would, but you don't necessarily have anything to harvest, you can look up local farms in your area, and a lot of them will have berry picking. Like you have to sign up in advance and you have to like, you know, pay for it, but basically they give you a basket. You can go pick whatever you want. Very similar to like a pumpkin patch. And you can do that all throughout the year. They'll have like flowers, but around this time, berries, blackberries, apples are huge. They're like in season. Obviously, it's going to be different where you live. But going out and doing some berry picking would be such a perfect thing to do now. And we were totally gonna do this because I thought it would be such a cool thing to show on this vlog, but apparently you have to like book it out like a month in advance. So I did not do that. Unfortunately, we don't have berry picking to do, but I am gonna make like a feast, you know, an actual dinner, because all of these Sabbats like have like food at the center of it, celebrating with food. Because we couldn't go berry picking, we just decided to keep plugging away at our camper. We really want to try to get that done soon, so by fall people can actually come in and rent it out. So we've got my father-in-law here, and we're just kind of cranking away on this all day in between shooting. Better this time. Are you gonna eat him? I dare you to eat him. What it tastes like. Yay!
You're mine. You told me.
Do you like that? Yeah. Okay, so my husband also made one, but he didn't want to be on camera because he was still dirty and stinky from working outside. So this is his, and then we got mine, and then my son's. I'm gonna find a spot to put these for now. I'll probably move it like I do my Bridget's cross, but I think they're gonna look a little cooler once they turn brown. So I'm deciding to make a really nice dinner for tonight. I really want to honor that part of it because I think in the future Sabbats coming up, we're gonna have a lot to do. So we might not quite focus on the food part of it. But I thought, okay, Lammas, bread baking is like a key word in this holiday. So let's have some bread, let's make some nice homemade soup. I tried to make some things that I feel like I would harvest around this time. So we had some potatoes, we had some tomato bisque soup, we got a nice bread from the store, and I also made a recipe specifically for Lughnasadh from another witch on YouTube. So I followed her recipe. You can check it out down below if you want to try it yourself. We had a great dinner. My son got filthy. We talked. We had a great time. We don't normally sit down at a table, so even this was something special for us. So I wanted to try one of the divination methods in this book since we don't have a whole lot else to do for this Sabbat. And so one of the things that a lot of both Native Americans and Mexican people did was use corn for divination. I thought this would be fun, so I grabbed 30 kernels of dry corn. It honestly doesn't seem like much. I feel like I could have had more, but it's got to be an even number. And what you're going to do is think of a yes or no question that you want answered. And when you've thought of that question, you're going to go ahead and stick your hand in here, pull out just whatever amount feels right. You can set the rest to the side. And then what you want to do is make piles that each have 4 kernels. And then if you have any piles, again, that don't add up to 4, just go ahead and discard those. And then you want to count how many number of piles you have. If you have an even number of piles, the answer is yes. If you have an odd number, your answer is no. Alrighty, so I had 3 piles, so that is an odd number, so that means a no to my question. And my question, I basically asked if I should do an extra live stream this week because I was thinking about it. So maybe for some reason that's not a good idea. And intuitively, I immediately kind of knew that day's gonna be really busy. It's the day I head out of town, so I just don't think it's a good idea. So that was super fun. That reminds me of like when you pick flowers, like when you're younger and you ask, will they marry me or will they not marry me? You know, those are so much fun as a kid. And you know, this goes to a bigger point that I'd like to make, that almost anything can be used as a divination tool, especially when you set the intention that it will work. And I think I'm going to make a video about this, just about kind of tools in general, how they can totally not work for you or they could totally work, also how they can sometimes be a crutch. But anything can be used as a divination tool. You just have to set ahead of time. You just have to say, hey, guides, whoever's up there, you know, I want to communicate using this, you know, and then, you know, trust that they heard you, trust that they're going to give you a message, and then just go with it. And eventually you'll get to a point where, like, to me, I trust anything as a message now, and because I trust, they'll give it to me anyway. And so much so that I actually think I'm using the sky recently a lot to connect with my guides and get messages. And you know, we used to do that as a kid, you know, look in the sky, look at the clouds, see what shapes they made. But like, these Sabbat videos again have made me more aware of nature, and I am finding that I am connecting to the weather and the sky and the clouds, and like if there's lightning or a thunderstorm. I've just found myself recently asking, like, hey, what's going on? Why is this energy here? Like, I will say this summer we have gotten so much rain here in Colorado that is so not normal, especially the last two summers. I've been highly aware because of the pandemic. We've been home all the time. I've been finding myself connecting to nature and asking questions and being like, why is this weather here? Or why do the clouds look like this today? And I know it kind of seems a little out there, but I get messages. And I think, again, it all goes back to when you trust that something can be used as a tool to communicate a sign, then it should work. And I think that I really want to try an 8-ball. Like, I really do. I want to try to ask a question and use an 8-ball and try to see if it's a good communication tool. Again, I think it's kind of like the Ouija board. It depends on the tool. You might be more limited. When you've got an 8-ball that's only got, I don't know what kind of dice is in there, how many sides it has, but say it's only got 7-8 sides, you only have 7-8 answers. You know, the Ouija board, you have to find a bunch of letters to even spell out one word. So they're all limiting in their own ways. Even your psychic abilities, even your clairs are limiting in their own ways. But I think the point is, even with this corn, we learned that anything can be a divination tool. I love it. Alrighty, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this Sabbat. I know it was a lot shorter and sweeter. I didn't want to draw it out a whole lot. I don't know, but I just kind of feel like there wasn't a whole lot to it. Maybe that was just like the Llewellyn book. I just kind of even felt like the author was like, there's not much to do here. So if you celebrate Lughnasadh and you like know more things to do, like, please let me know. To be honest with this one, I don't think I'll celebrate it again. I like to end each of these with like what I would do different next time, and I kind of feel like this one I just probably won't celebrate. At the most, I think what I'll probably do is like have it in my calendar and be like, oh, okay, halfway through the summer, reminder to, you know, if there's anything else I want to do while it's still warm out, get it done. But like I said in the last Sabbat video, like, I think ever since it started to get warm, everything is just so go. I've just been doing so much, and I think with the weather, it's like you're out and about more, you have more plans, people have more plans, there's a lot more going on, which makes a whole lot of sense. Like, we talked about it at my very first Sabbat, which was in bulk, and that one was like, oh, we're huddled indoors, we're not going out, we're just kind of being at home, we're going inwards. Whereas summer has very much felt outwards. I've just been doing so much. I've really enjoyed how much it's been getting me to look at the seasons symbolically. Like, I've definitely been looking at them literally, but then it's also getting me to think about them symbolically, and like realizing that just because, you know, summer's happening doesn't mean you're in that state. Sometimes you want to go inward, sometimes you want to hibernate, sometimes you don't feel like go, you just want to be a hermit, you know. And I think that in our culture, especially in America, in our society, we're expected to go 24/7. And I feel like just getting in tune with like the seasons has made me realize, oh, I don't have to do that. There are times in life where things are slower, where you sit back, where you just can't do a whole lot, and that's okay. And I think that has given me so much more permission to kind of just take a breather every now and then. For example, our summer, we still have so many things planned. I have 2 of our biggest trips that we're going to take this year happening between now and the next Sabbat. We're going to Missouri to visit family. It's like this big trip. We're going to see like a ton of people, and I'm also teaching courses while I'm out there at Milo Farms, and then we're going to come back for a couple weeks, and I'm going to film my masterclass course, and then I am going to go to Florida for Walt Disney World, taking my son for his first trip, which I've been planning for literally since probably way before he was born, but literally the last 2 years. And I'm just super excited for both of those trips, but I just know I'm going to be exhausted. So next time you see me, which will be in a couple seconds for you, we're going to be celebrating Mabon, which is the autumn equinox. It's when fall starts. So it's not Halloween yet. That'll be the following Sabbat. But I'm very excited for that. I will see you guys, in a month and a half for that. Again, seconds for you. I'm really excited because then I'm going to be able to switch into fall mode. All these trips will be out of the way, and I will be ready to go inward again, which we're technically not quite in the dark half of the Wheel of the Year. We're still in the light half, but we're getting closer. Happy fall!
That's fall.
Happy fall! It's fall. It's fall equinox. It's autumn equinox. The days are officially equal. So the days and nights, I should say. But starting after today, technically, then the days get shorter and the nights get longer. Pumpkin cream cold brew cheers. Cheers. We're basic bitches. He doesn't refute it. So this Sabbat is a solar Sabbat, and that basically means that it's more centered around what's going on with the sun. Again, remembering that equinoxes mean, you know, the day and the night are equal again, and then after that it usually starts to go either the nights are longer or the days are longer, and then the solstices are when the sun is at its peak one way or the other. Again, longest day, longest night. And so the dark half of the year is more introspective, more inward. You know, in the way olden days, basically people had to, not quite yet, but you're prepping to hunker down and survive the winter. And during that time, you're just doing more things inwardly. And so when we think about these Sabbats, we have to think about them symbolically and like, okay, what have we harvested? How can we prepare for the winter, get everything done so that we can kind of prepare for the next chapter of our lives? Now, normally I've already usually got Halloween and like fall decorations up by now. I usually set it up on September 1st. I kind of just came up with that because I felt like August was technically summer, but September I feel like, okay, we can make it fall. And then the fact that, you know, the Hogwarts Express technically leaves on September 1st, I was like, all right, this is going to be my setup day. However, we were on vacation, so we didn't get to do that. So it's very delayed for me. I basically even delayed. I wanted to set up as soon as we got back home, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till Mabon. And really, I'm trying to push myself a little further with, I really don't like summer. I hate the heat. I hate how sweaty I get and how like the sun just like kills everything in our yard. But a lot of the times in the past, I would not like give myself the full summer, and I would just set up for fall like really early and then just jump straight into it. And then the thing was, is I kind of started my dark half of the year, even though I didn't know what that was back then. I would start it way too soon. And then by the springtime, I was like done. I was ready for the warmth to come back. And so I really tried to push myself kind of last year, but also even more so this year, to fully enjoy summer. And basically I feel like our vacation was kind of that last summer hurrah. Florida was even hotter than it was here, so it definitely felt like summer. It was like 90-degree days, dripping sweat. It was so hot. And we also went to Missouri, where I did a festival and taught at a festival. Both of those were a ton of fun. I really enjoyed doing both. It was nice to just like have something to do during summertime, and just to make it feel like we did fully enjoy summer. So this was our first time taking our son to Disney. I had so much fun. I think he had so much fun. I just wanted to mention it because basically in between these two Sabbats, all I've been doing is like traveling, working, also getting my new class all prepared for you guys, filmed, and I'm just really excited to slow down. I'm so excited to slow down now, and I feel like I have permission. So the very first of those trees are just starting to turn here in Colorado. It's like such perfect timing. Yesterday and the day before, it was like cold, like 60 degrees, raining. Those would have been perfect like fall-esque days. Today is a little bit warmer, but I don't think we're getting up past like 80, 85 anymore for the rest of the year. So one of the things we are doing today is we are winterizing our yard, kind of picking up, cleaning up, getting rid of everything that's summer oriented, and kind of preparing our yard for the winter. So I'm gonna go change and talk to you guys a little bit about the old ways of this Sabbat while we go ahead and do that. This is basically the second harvest of the year out of 3. So the next Sabbat, which is Samhain, that'll be the third and last harvest of the season. And it's loosely called the Festival of Sacrifice because you're having to give things up during this season. You're having to kind of pick and choose at that time what you're going to eat, what you're going to let go of, what you're going to replant, what animals you might have to kill and store for the winter before the light is gone. So in the Mabon book for the Llewellyn Sabbat series, there's a ton of different festivals and celebrations that all sorts of cultures did, and it was so fun to read up on them. I'm not going to go over all of them, but across them all, it almost seems like the basic themes is you eat, you dance, you play, you celebrate, and that is kind of what these harvest festivals are about. So there's a lot of themes around sacrifice. You want to give to the land so the land can give back to you in the spring. So I talked a little bit about it during the last Sabbat, but our yard just struggles. So we have decided to plant a mix of clover and native grass seeds, and this is the best time to do it. So we're planting that grass so that we are going to be wasting less water, less money when it comes to next year. Our yard just doesn't have harvest, and I think again it's because of the seeds that we planted. They were not nurtured, not tended to, and what we did tend to, it just wasn't enough. So we're really using this Sabbat as a way to say thank you. We're gonna try to take better care of you, our little tiny plot of land here, and just do better for our yard so that it can be better for us in the future. So I'm getting a head start on one of the recipes in here. I wanted to go apple picking really bad, wanted to do that the last Sabbath. I think I'm going to do that with my sister in between the next Sabbats, but anyways, I'm going to be making the apple chip recipe out of this book, and then I decided, even though it's not in here, to make frozen butter beer. So we're going to do that. It's kind of like a fun little recipe for the night, see if we like them, and I'm going to get those started. So kind of like the last Sabbat, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of modern day rituals surrounding this festival besides just kind of eating. But however, there are some things you can look out for. Pagans actually have a big pride festival around this time, so you might see if there's something in your area that you can attend. This can also be a time of the year that you gather your family to give food or just give to the poor, or, you know, do some sort of volunteer activity. Here in the US, Thanksgiving is actually our like closest holiday to this Sabbat, but it really actually doesn't even come till after the next Sabbat. Really anything you can do to kind of celebrate moving from the light to the dark, you know, kind of acknowledging that bittersweet mixed feelings, and you're tending to your inner balance, you're preparing for winter. Anything along those lines symbolically are kind of in line with this Sabbat. So you can plant bulbs for spring, you can can and pickle things, you can again go outside while you still can, you'd host a barbecue for your family or friends, you could go apple picking, which is something I still really want to do. Also, the god Dionysus was heavily associated with the harvest festival. So like finding a wine or beer tasting, that would actually be totally in line with this Sabbat as well. Really, I'm just focusing on planting bulbs for spring, really focusing on my yard. I've just been so busy. I want to just take it very relaxed this Sabbat. But I am decorating as well. I'm decorating and setting up for everything for fall. What do you think? Look at that whole section. We got tarot card blankets. I mean, it's cheap, but it's something. That's kind of cool. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised. Like, this is definitely new from last year. They're trying, which is good, but it's not quite there yet. I think, is that it? I think that's it right there. You want to be Buzz Lightyear? They're clothes that you wear for Halloween. This is the one we want. It's way too big. I just pulled it out and checked it. So we have a coupon. We're gonna get it, the same one online.
With the other skeletons, perhaps we let them all out with the fun.
There was another spirit store like 2 more minutes north, so trying again.
Go buy it.
Go buy it. Oh,
Go buy it.
all right. I think that's your size. Is that Woody? Would you rather be Woody or Buzz?
Wait, Buzz.
Do you want Buzz or Woody?
Buzz, wait.
You gotta have both, just one. I think you're gonna want Buzz more.
Go on. Hi.
What did you say about that baby?
Yes.
He's making a mess, yeah. So one thing I did not realize about these books is that they are written by different authors. So I actually like this one the best so far, just because the way that she wrote it was just an easy read, and I felt like she did her research. However, the divination section of this book is so small. There was hardly like very many I could choose from. I feel like it would have been pretty easy to come up with some ideas, even if it wasn't like traditional like Mabon Divination. So I'm gonna do the one tarot spread that it has in here, but it requires 24 cards. That's a lot of cards, so I'm gonna have to do it on my floor. But I'm gonna lay them all out and just talk about it in brief. Okay, so this is a lot, especially with tarot. I don't think I need this many cards. However, this group of 8 is like distant past. This group of 8 is right now-ish. And then this group of 8 is future. And in all of these piles, the top 4 cards are like the recent past, and then the bottom 4 cards are the near future. So you have to put it in perspective. So this is like my distant past, and what came out of, like, these are the actions that I made, and then the outcomes from that, if that makes sense. So this is now. So the very recent past, actions I've made, outcomes from that, and then this is like future, which hasn't happened yet, which will be like closer to now, further from now, the actions I make and the outcomes that come from that. So honestly, if you really want to try this, I would recommend just doing 8 at a time, taking notes, and then shuffling things back in, because I was hearing from my guides that like I needed cards from here for it to be more accurate. And I might actually do this again tonight, but do 8 at a time, reshuffle 8 and get some more clarity, because I feel like there's messages here, but you know, sometimes you pull cards and you're just like, this doesn't feel right, I think I need to reshuffle, or I need to redo it. I kind of feel like that's what I need to do here, but I just wanted to show you the spread. There's no way I would walk through all 24 of these cards and explain my life to you. That's just, nobody cares that much, but you at least have the spread if you want to try it for yourself. Honestly, this was kind of just like a what did you do and what was the outcome, which is kind of interesting. So I feel like you could do this spread at any time, but I guess it makes sense with Mabon because it's like focusing on you reaped what you sow. Like, what did you do? What did you get from it? Which can be really helpful, actually. So cool spread. I'm going to try it again, and I hope that helps you. Wow, it says spooky. Okay. Wow.
Whoa, it's a definite.
You like it now? Okay, not bad. Those look really good. Woo! For Atlas too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Leslie.
Hey, Mama. Okay, Mama. Okay, Daddy.
For your face.
Mmm. Big that smile.
More? Good?
Okay. Yeah.
I love you.
I love you, buddy. Cheers. Cheers.
Ian says it's really good. He's not just faking for the camera.
No, it's really good. It's a good recipe.
Mm.
I don't know if I could drink very much because it's pretty sweet, but it's delicious.
Yeah, no, it's good.
myself, words at all.
Ooh, those are sweet. You want to try a bite? Mmm. It's an apple.
Apple.
They're good.
Here you go.
I think you should take out the seeds next time.
I was just gonna eat around them, but I think in the future, fall equinox will probably just be like, we do one thing the day of to be like, oh, okay, sweet. Now it's gonna get darker from here on out. But I think all the rest of the stuff I'll just space out over the fall. Like that's why I enjoy fall, is like, I think I plan a lot of these things and space them out. Obviously it was good for you guys because you got to see it all in one day. But there's still a lot that I want to do for autumn. Like, we're gonna go to a pumpkin patch.
Hi, Mama.
Obviously, Samhain's coming up. That is my busiest time of the year. I have lots and lots of Halloween parties that I'm reading at. So next vlog is definitely going to be way more jam-packed. I feel like the two biggest Sabbats are basically next video, which is Halloween and Christmas. Samhain and Yule. I kind of feel like both of these Sabbats I won't really celebrate too much. I mean, I definitely am going to pay attention to them and like point them out and, you know, talk about them to my son as he gets older. So we won't totally ignore them. I think it's almost impossible. I think it is so helpful to kind of like benchmark the year just paying attention to these. Well, yeah, thank you for watching and joining us. I hope you guys enjoy these as much as I enjoy making them. Toys. And we will see you guys in the next Sabbat. Good night. And pick apples from the trees. Apples. We carve big orange pumpkins.